Statistics South Africa is mandated by the Statistics Act to collect data for the official statistics and to conduct a census. The organization has reported a gradual population increase in the country since the first population count in 1996.
The population of South Africa as of the 2nd of February 2022 was 62.027 million. And of course, we can show how our population grew over time. Next slide, Melo. We can say that in 1996, there were 40.6 million, and we grew by 10.4% into 2001, where we're sitting at 44.8 million. In 2001 to 2011, we grew by 15.5% straight into 51.8 million. And the increase between 2011 and 2022, the increase was 19.8%, which represented 10.3 million persons, and it took us to 62.027 million.
According to Stats SA, South Africa has more women as compared to men, and the number of black Africans stands at 81.4% compared to other races. Almost half of the households in South Africa are headed by females. On the other hand, there's been a decrease in white population from 11% down to 7.3%.
KwaZulu-Natal as of 1996 was the most populous province. It was followed by Gauteng. 2001, KwaZulu-Natal stayed. In 2011, it was overtaken by Gauteng. As we can see that Gauteng went all the way to 2022 sitting at 15.1 million, followed by KwaZulu-Natal at 12.4 million. But of interest is the Western Cape, which was number 5 in 1996. 2001, the same. It came after KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, Eastern Cape, and Limpopo. In 2011, it overtook Limpopo. And of course, now it has overtaken the Eastern Cape.
Census 2022 was the first digital count attributed to the COVID-19 outbreak. The report also reveals that access to service delivery has shown an upward trend from 2001 to 2002, with over 80% of households in the country having access to piped water. More than 70% have access to flushing toilets, but there's still nearly 22% of the population that uses pit latrines. Almost 95% of households have access to electricity.
Households that resided in the Western Cape and Gauteng had greater access of flush toilets, sitting at 93.9% and 89.7% respectively. And we can see that there were issues in Limpopo where Limpopo had 3 times the amount of pit latrines without ventilation than the average, the national average.
The report was officially handed to President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Union Buildings. The President commended the gains made particularly in access to electricity and piped water. He says the report will help government to plan adequately.
Despite the present challenges of load shedding, which we are urgently trying to address, we should be encouraged by the almost universal access to electricity supply. The results that have been represented here today underscore the urgency with which we must work towards meeting the aspiration of the National Development Plan and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Just to see that many of our people now have access to electricity, almost 95%, and they have access to water. And we now have a challenge. We now need to increase the number of people who have piped water right into their homes. It is now clear that it is attainable. It is no longer a dream that many of our people had in 1994.
The census data will be disseminated in 3 phases, with the next 2 phases expected to touch on, amongst others, household income. Diaboseto, SABC News.